Good morning, students. This is the first revision video of the chapter Electoral Politics, and this video has been made for class 9th. So let us discuss this revision video and we'll try to understand all about the electoral politics. Now, first question is that if we are going to talk about electoral politics, the first thing that comes in our mind is the election. So what makes an election democratic? All the elections can't be termed as a democratic election. So how can you tell that particular election is a democratic election, or how a particular election is termed as undemocratic? So let us discuss what makes an election democratic. So here it is mentioned everyone should be able to choose. This means that everyone should have one vote and every vote should have equal value. It means one vote, one man and one value. This is the central theme which makes the election democratic. There should be something to choose from. Parties and candidates should be free to contest elections and should offer some real choice to the voters. It means that all the political party must look in a different way, must put some different views or ideology before the public so that public could choose the best one. If all the political parties will look similar, then it will be very difficult for the public to choose the right one, the right political party for forming the government. So that is why it is written, in order to make election democratic, it is very important that every political party must come in the competition and every political party must come with different ideas, different ideology and different mandate. Now, we must understand this choice should be offered at regular intervals. Election must be held regularly after every 5 years. If an election is a democratic election, it means it shows that election must take place at the interval of every 5 years, or there should be a fixed interval of time after that election should take place. So we need to understand here that if the election is fixed or it is going to take place at a regular interval, then the political party which is in power, it may be replaced by the opposition, or if that political party has done something good, then it will continue in the power. Now, the candidate preferred by the people should get elected. The candidate which is preferred by the people, because we are talking about the representative democracy in which the representatives are chosen by the ordinary public. So, the public which is going to vote to the candidate, and if the candidate is preferred by most of the public, the chances are there that that particular candidate will win the election. Now, elections should be conducted in a free and fair manner. The most important thing, or the most important condition for the democratic election is the free and fair manner. We already discussed about in various videos about the elections that held in Mexico, elections that held in Pakistan, and by analyzing those examples we can easily tell that in those countries elections were there, but those elections could not be termed as a democratic election. Why? Because those elections were conducted in an unfair manner. But what is the most important thing for the democratic election? That democratic election should be conducted in a free and fair manner. That is the most important point of the democratic election. That election should be conducted, but in a very fair manner, in a very free manner, in a free and fair manner, where people can choose the candidate whom they like or whom they vote. So we need to understand that free and fair election is the most important thing for the democratic election. But the basic question is that how can you ensure that election is always free and fair? So it is ensured by the Constitution of India. In our country, the Constitution of India has vested a special constitutional body named as Election Commission of India under Article number 324, that is Article number 324, and it has been given the task to the Election Commission of India to conduct election of India in a very free and fair manner. So here, if we are going to talk about the election of Lok Sabha or Vidhan Sabha or President or Vice President, it is mainly conducted by Election Commission of India. So here, Election Commission of India role is very important because it is going to act in an independent manner. So let us discuss more about Election Commission of India. So we'll discuss about Election Commission of India. So here we are going to discuss about that how can you say that election is free and fair. So because we have the independent election commission, and after that we need to understand that mass level popular participation is there in the election. Third is the acceptance of result election result, I mean to say the political party which is going to get defeated, they are also accepting that okay, we got defeat, so next time we'll choose, we'll vote, we'll represent ourselves again, and we'll win the election. And free and fair election, of course, these are connected with the Independent Election Commission. So let us discuss about the Election Commission of India. Now, as we discussed that the most important task of the Election Commission of India is to conduct free and fair election. But this can be done only if the Election Commission of India will be independent body. In India, elections are conducted by an independent and powerful autonomous election commission. Why it is written autonomous? Because it is not controlled by government. The President of India appointing the Chief Election Commissioner and 2 other election commissioners for a 6 years of period. So basically we need to understand these 3 important personalities are there inside the Election Commission, and the decisions are taken on the basis of majority. It enjoys the same kind of independence that the judiciary enjoys. So but once appointed, the Election Commission is not answerable to the President or government. It is a very interesting fact that once it is commissioned, once it is appointed, it is not answerable even to the government or to the President. And that is why it shows that it is free from any type of interference. Even if the ruling party or the government does not like what commission does, it is impossible to remove the CEC, and they need to obey. We need to understand that whatever election commission is going to perform during election, it is not questionable by any government or by anybody. During election, all the power rests under the command of Election Commission of India. So during election Commission of India is getting whole and sole power, and it is the Election Commission which is going to act in an independent manner, and it is the Election Commission which is going to conduct the election in a very conducive, in a very different manner, so that no one could raise questions on his role. Now, what is the functions of Election Commission of India? We need to understand that Election Commission of India role is to conduct free and fair election. But if you are going to analyze it, you will find multifarious roles. So let us discuss about the roles of Election Commission of India. So first it is written here that Election Commission takes decision on every aspect of conduct and control of elections, from the announcement of the election to the declaration of the result. So it is a long run process. From the announcement of the date of the election till the declaration of result, the whole responsibility lies on the shoulder of Election Commission of India. Second point, it implements the code of conduct and punishes any candidate or party that violates it. Before contesting the election, code of conduct is settled by the Election Commission of India. And if any candidate or if any political party violates the code of conduct, it is getting punishment also. Even sometimes the election is going to be cancelled. Election can also be cancelled in such conditions. So code of conduct is a very important thing that is generally declared by Election Commission of India. After that, it can also order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent use and misuse of government power to enhance its chances to win elections, or to transfer some governmental offices. As I discussed that during election, the Election Commission of India acts as a government. It performs the whole duty of the government regarding the transfer, regarding the posting of important government officials. When on the election duty, government officers work under the control of the Election Commission and not the government. It is quite interesting to understand that during election, the government employees are not going to work under the control of government. They are under the control of Election Commission. So as I discussed, that Election Commission of India is going to generally takes the responsibility of the government. It acts as a government during the election, and to give an advice to the President on some certain issues. And the most important thing about the Election Commission of India, that on certain important issues it may also advise the President of India. So here, from the conducting of election to the advising the President, the task is really multifarious, and Election Commission of India is well expert, is well skilled in it. So we need to understand here that if we are going to talk about the democratic election, then democratic election can be ensured only with the help of Election Commission of India. So that earmarks the importance of Election Commission of India. Election Commission of India is an independent body that is made by the Constitution. That is why it is also termed as constitutional body. And we need to understand here that Election Commission of India is that body which conducts election with different technology. Nowadays, different technology has been used. It has been employed, like EVM machines, like VVPAT. So this type of new technology has been devised in order to boost the Election Commission of India. So this is all about the role of Election Commission of India. Thank you so much.